such a big fan of these two.
Yep.
And as individuals as well, they were brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Well, you've been a massive advocate of them before all this happens. I think that there's a lot of people, and it probably sounds controversial me saying this, there's a lot of people that have jumped on the bandwagon, unfortunately, since Jay's passing. But you legitimately have been such a mega fan. You told me, and Johnny,
you've always brought them up almost every episode.
Yeah, when I was listening back to edits of episodes, you're always telling us to watch them. And
yeah. Now, I actually only picked 2 matches to begin with until I think it was last week. I came round here, around James's, and watched Jay Briscoe versus Amazing Red. And a little bit of history. Going back, when Ring of Honor first started, I didn't see a lot of it. I didn't have access to the shows. I'd heard about it, and I hadn't even really seen much of the Briscoes. So this kind of topic gave me a good opportunity to go back and watch a lot of it. So yeah, I'd heard about it all. Even with like the whole Summer of Punk and Danielson and Samoa Joe, I never see any of that at the time. It wasn't until a lot later on that I kind of got to watch it all. Did watch this match, and it was just amazing. It was Jay Briscoe versus the Amazing Red. It was at a time where ECW was out of business, and this was kind of like a new ECW in a way. It was kind of like it still had that gritty side to it all. It was a small venue, and it was just it was different to everything else going on at the time.
it was a small venue, but it worked.
Yeah, it worked perfectly. Yeah.
And what I found fascinating is this match in 2002. I can't remember the exact month, but I'm sure it's around February. And if you think about it, you haven't even had The Rock versus Hogan
yet. No, you haven't.
At WrestleMania 18. And what this match, why to me this match is fantastic. I've always been a fan of Amazing Red. This match is two 19-year-olds who are just going out there and giving it their all.
Yeah.
They're putting together a great match. It's fantastic. It's a clash of styles, really. Because you've got sort of the big built Jay, and then you've got Red, who looks like he shouldn't even be in there. He looks like a 14-year-old boy, but he's so talented. And the match just works. It's stunning. Yeah. There's a load of brilliant transitions in there.
There's moves in there I don't think at that time had even been done. They were new, sort of just, new moves that no one had done.
It's a fantastic match. And again, I don't want to spoil it too much because I think that people should go and see it, and we will link it on the channel. It is great. And these two are extremely, and we say this a lot about the Briscoes, don't we? Red as well, to give him his props, extremely underrated. Massively underrated.
Was it from the first pay-per-view as well? It's from Era of Honor Begins, isn't it?
I believe so. I've had that match on DVD, and I've always loved that match.
Yeah.
And I just want to highlight that my picks are specifically on Jay Briscoe, because it's what I know.
Yeah.
Okay, from like early on. Yeah. So that's our first.
Yeah. My number 3 pick is from Ring of Honor Man Up 2007, September 15th, actually, 2007, Chicago Ridge, Illinois, and it was Ladder War.
This is the other pick I've actually got as well.
So there we go. Chime in with this as well, mate. It's the Briscoe Brothers versus Kevin Steen and El Generico, obviously now known as Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Ring of Honor still to this day have branded this, and I quote, the most brutal ladder match in Ring of Honor history.
Was this the first ladder match in Ring of Honor as well?
Yes.
It was just full on. It was just from the start.
From the moment they came to the ring, not got in.
The streamers were still pouring in the ring as the match started.
I'm not, with all of these picks, I'm not gonna ruin the outcome, and give a spoiler as to who wins these matches. Much the same as what James said. I'm gonna post the links. This match is on YouTube. It's fucking brutal.
It is like some of the memorable spots. There's there's the Briscoes. They get Generico and they throw him halfway across the ring through the ladder set up, which I thought was great. It's
savage. I mean, the chair shots in it, some of them were brutal and really made me kind of wince.
They got that massive ladder out as well. And you got Kevin Steen, he pushes the ladder over with Jay Briscoe on the top, and it lands on the previous broken ladder as well.
You got, being thrown over barriers onto, the crowd have obviously got their heads up and kind of moved out of the way. And you're left with about 5 to 10 empty chairs. And you got poor Mark Briscoe just landing back first on the back end of these chairs. It's fucking savage.
One thing was when Steen put Mark with it was like a bridged ladder.
Yeah.
He done a brutal package pile driver through it off the ladder onto the other ladder. Yeah, it was just.
That's making I've watched these quite a few times, and it makes me cringe every time I watch it. But it's such a good match.
Yeah,
it's a brilliant showcase of 4 individual wrestlers, not 2 tag teams. But as and when they do combine their efforts to work 2-on-1 and vice versa, backwards and forwards, it's
25 minutes long as well of just non-stop action.
It's actually the longest match on the card at 27 minutes and 23 seconds.
There we go.
The second longest match on there was the main event at 21 minutes.
Wow.
Watch it. It's fucking outstanding. Yeah. I can't big it up enough.
Did you see the angle following the match as well?
Yeah.
With the Jay's attacked by Jimmy Jacobs.
Yeah.
And he's hung upside down from the top of the arena with the ceiling by his feet, and Jimmy's just underneath bathing in his blood.
Yeah.
Backed up.
It's so savage. It is so savage.
I've got nothing to add. It's fantastic.
It's such a good match.
It's on my standby list.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's this really lovely match. This is Jay Briscoe again in singles. And this is really interesting because this one takes place in 2003.
Okay.
And immediately, Jay looks so green in the 2002 match. And then he's sort of completely changed character and he's gone into this country boy look at this point after a year. So, he's beginning to establish the character here. This match is Jay versus the American Dragon. You all know who he is, Bryan Danielson. This is a great match. Bryan Danielson here looks like you're familiar, we talked about this before, create a wrestler on a video game. You can see why no one really, despite his amazing talent, maybe picked up on him. Yeah. But my God, the talent in this match is amazing. This match starts at close quarters, and it's sort of catch as catch can while standing up. Mm. They both have wrist control over one another at different times. But there's so many transitions and so many throws and technical aspects of groundwork and then coming back up but still being close, if you know what I mean. Yeah. I showed this to you, Johnny. It's got aspects of a European style in it.
Yeah, definitely.
And Jay's up to the task here. Really, really up to the task with probably the best wrestler in the world, a lot of people were saying. It's fantastic. It moves into a lot more action. And it's just a great match. I'm not going to ruin it again. It's fantastic. And it shows Jay and the amount of influence he had on these people now that we see as megastars. Yeah. You know? And it's great. This is a proper wrestling fans match.
Yeah.
This is not going to be something that someone who likes the entertainment factor of WWE and AEW to an extent, it's maybe not going to be their cup of tea.
This is just 2 wrestlers going out there.
Wrestling at its purest form.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've gone for a match from 2007, and it's Ring of Honor, the 5th year festival from Liverpool, England. So the story of this match was 2 brothers wanted to make each other tougher following their loss of the tag team titles the night before. So it's Jay versus Mark. And the match starts off, it's very technical, but as time goes on, things get more physical and more personal. The match is very hard hitting. The finish comes with both brothers knocking each other out and both staying down for the 10 count. In my opinion, it was one of the best and satisfying double knockouts I've seen in wrestling.
It's so good.
There we go. Yeah, that's it.
It is really good.
Is this the one that takes place at Liverpool?
Yeah. Liverpool.
Okay, I know this match.
It's great. Yeah. It really is great.
I thought it was a good match. Told a good story. They were both trying to make each other better, and yeah,
this is why I wanted. I know it was unfortunate that it took Jay's death for me to want to pick this, and I do honestly think eventually I'd have got round to this topic.
I do.
But it's these guys. They threw everything into their storylines, and they done it so well. If they really did do it well, they could sell a story brilliantly, and I genuinely think they honestly were the best tag team the last 20, 30 years. Everything that they did, they put their heart and soul in, whether it was, working on their craft, working major productions, down to small indie circuits. They were not afraid to take risks. They just loved what they were doing. You think of all the different promotions that they worked for, got the absolute best out of them.
They went everywhere, didn't they? Impact.
Yeah.
New Japan.
Yeah, you name it, they've been there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You've only got to look at the amount of pouring out of love at the moment for them.
Yeah.
Certain people who credit them for having such a major influence in their careers.
You've got to look at the wrestling stars that turned out for his funeral.
Yeah.
I mean, before I go into my second pick, I've got the list of their accolades, and fuck me, it is impressive. So, as most of you may or may not know, they debuted on Ring of Honor from day one, and practically pioneered the tag team division from day one. They only ever took a hiatus from Ring of Honor between August 2004 to February 2006, and that was due to quite a severe injury from Jay, but they also worked indie circuits at the same time. Held 13 Ring of Honor tag team titles, 2 tag team titles in Combat Zone Wrestling, 1 tag team title in Full Impact Pro, GCW tag team titles 3 times, House of Glory tag team titles once, Impact tag team titles once, Jersey Championship Wrestling light heavyweight champion was held by Mark. NWA Crockett Cup winners in 2022, the New Japan IWGP tag team titles once, the never open weight 6-man tag titles twice with Toriano, NWA Wildside tag team champs once, Ring of Honor world champion twice with Jay Briscoe, the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team titles with Bully Ray once, and were finally inducted into the Hall of Fame for Ring of Honor in 2022.
Fantastic.
That list fucking speaks for itself.
Yeah, a bit then. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, leads me into my second pick, which comes from April the 5th, 2014, and it's Supercard of Honor, and it's Jay Briscoe versus Kevin Steen for the ROH heavyweight title.
I've got this too.
Feel free to pipe in with this one. I've got a few little facts that I wanted to read out, which was obviously Kevin Steen was walking into this match as the champion with a prolific title hold of 839 days. Jay Briscoe obviously had the Ring of Honor legacy from being there from day one, and at this point was 11 years into his career with Ring of Honor. The feud was really well set up.
I can't remember the faction name.
Scum,
that's it.
The fraction was superb, and obviously you had the Briscoe boys had their little fraction as well in a sold-out Hammerstone ballroom. It's not the most fast-paced match.
There's a lot of impact in this match.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crazy moves in this match. One of the things that stands out for me, Stu, and I'm going to let you carry on, one of the things that stands out so massively to me, and that's why I've picked the last two, being the American Dragon and Kevin Steen, who is now Kevin Owens, is for me, in this match, Jay outperforms Steen.
Yeah, massively, which gives me even more reason to say fair props to Jay Briscoe on this one, because he was suffering from a dislocated shoulder as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic in this match.
It's brilliant, and the story behind the match as well is obviously Kevin Steen's long run with the title, and obviously the fraction of Scum completely overruling everyone and undermining everyone in Ring of Honor at that time. This victory wasn't yeah, fuck it, spoiler alert there, never mind. This whole victory wasn't for just Jay, it was for the whole Ring of Honor company.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me similar to when Lex Luger beat Hogan in WCW and when Sting beat Hogan in WCW.
It's more about Jay representing Ring of Honor than anything else. Yeah. There's a lot of heartstrings pulled in this match. And obviously, you know, Mark being there, and I'm pretty sure if I remember rightly, their dad was in the front row.
I can't remember. All I can remember is being mega impressed with Jay. It's
brilliant.
My favourite Jay match, probably. That, and as much as I like the American Dragon match, that and Red. These two.
And it's not just the fact that Jay had all this on his back as well. And obviously with the injury and everything else, the heartstrings that are being pulled for this match, I have got to give huge props to the commentary team in this match. They were calling it like their jobs depended on it as well. And it's just, the emotion that they're giving off is just phenomenal. It's just so good. I could sit here for an hour talking so much in depth about this match, but I'm not going to. It's everything you want from a main event title match.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. As a babyface with Jay in this, there's an energy to it. He wants to put on a show. Yeah. You know, someone where you go, wow, that was their best match. Yeah. Like, regardless of the opponent, their performance in it was just great. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I need to see this match.
It's good. It's not on YouTube.
No.
There's highlights of it.
Is there?
Yeah, okay. There is highlights of it. I just wanted to read out a brief paragraph that was on What Culture's website that they'd written about this actual match. And it simply says, this hardship led to the match's end. Jay Briscoe was unable to lift Steen off the mat for a Jay Driller. He'd given off all he could with all the lariats and the initial Jay Driller that he simply had nothing more in the tank for a second go. But the capped Hammerstein Ballroom crowd knew he could. When he finally got Steen's feet up in the air for the pile driver variant, the end was in sight. It's a crucial moment written into the history of Ring of Honor that won't ever be forgotten. They were absolutely right. But my number one pick, and it is a bittersweet one. It's the Briscoe Brothers versus FTR Part 3, the dog collar match from Ring of Honor Final Battle 2002 on December the 10th. And it's for the Ring of Honor tag titles. And unfortunately, it was Jay's final match. But I would like to say, I don't think, I know it was a horrific thing what happened. I don't think it could have gone out on a better match.
Yeah, I thought it was a great match. I'd only seen it the once, which was the other day. I'd heard about it. I'd heard good things about it. The 3 matches they'd had all together were all great. Yeah.
Oh, they got better.
Yeah.
Each one just got better than the last. And I've got to say, for me personally, this is my absolute favourite trilogy series of matches for tag teams.
Yeah.
I love this. I love the work that FTR have done since leaving the main roster for WWE. I absolutely love their work that they did for NXT.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it all went tits up after the big push. They've moved on to bigger and better things. They've worked with the Briscoes for many years. They go back a long, long way. But this match was absolutely superb. I think I mentioned to you guys that, at the start of the match, before they even started wrestling, they had literally just attached the dog collars to each other with the chains. And the first thing that Jay does is pick up his end of the chain, give it a flick, and it goes smack straight into Dax Harwood's face.
Ouch.
There is this kind of brief look where he does look over at Dax, and it's that kind of... it's that little wince of, oh shit, sorry, man. But in less than 9 minutes, the crowd are chanting, "This is awesome." I think it's brutality at its finest and most poetic form.
Yeah, it really is, yeah.
He got 15 minutes into the crowd, and I love when this happens. And I think it's such a detriment to how good a tag teams they were. But for 15 minutes into Jay's final match, the crowd started chanting, "Fight forever." Yes, Cash Wheeler as a prime example. I love this, but this moment is he's throwing chairs into the ring for Dax to use, and just all of a sudden you hear Cash Wheeler yell out, "Fucking murder him!" I'm thinking, there's kids in the crowd.
Yeah.
There's kids watching this at home, and you're stood 2 foot away from a camera. Well done. But I love it. I absolutely love it. It's going to go down as one of those matches that's always going to be known. It's always going to be remembered.
Yeah.
Ironically, it was also rated as the third highest match of 2022.
Okay.
And also, bear with me a second, there is a quote from Dax Harwood himself from his own podcast. And he has stated, "I wouldn't mind if this goes down as the greatest in-ring trilogy of all time. I understand that there is the Steamboat and Flair, and that's hard. That's a hard bar to measure up. But I would like for that to be it. I would like for it to go down as the 3 greatest tag team matches of all time. And I know that's hard. That's a hard bar to beat too. But also for all you listeners at home, if something as sad as a passing of a very, very talented individual husband and father can make you go out and look back on his previous work and the legacy that he has left behind, brilliant. I hope you do go back."
What's a shame is that with Ring of Honor starting up again, you could see that the Briscoes were going to be a big part of that.
They
Massively.
would have been stalwarts, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they were going to be their main focus of the tag team division.
Absolutely.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not to happen.
Yeah. So
Yeah, here we go.
there it ends.
There we go.
Reach for the sky, boy. Go and fucking watch their stuff.